You often reference the Heart Sutra. What is meant by emptiness equals form and form equals emptiness? And what is meant by the perfection of wisdom that ends all suffering?
Wow, this is a tough one, actually. I mean, um, what is meant by form is emptiness and emptiness is form? Well, look, it's right there in the Heart Sutra. Afterwards, it says form is not other than emptiness and emptiness is not other than form. If you read the Heart Sutra, it explains it all. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Let's break it down the way it's presented. So, um, form is emptiness, is also expressed in the phrase, I think, which is also from the Heart Sutra, is it? All dharmas are marked by emptiness. Is that also in the Heart Sutra? I think it is.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, so all things, all ideas, all concepts, all objects, um, all projected subjects, and so on. Everything that you can imagine or conceive of is marked by emptiness. In other words, it isn't fundamentally real. It is like it's created through, we could say, mind activity. And so the distinctions that make up any object or any event or anything or any concept are imagined. The distinctions are imagined, and so the object or event isn't fundamentally real. In other words, it doesn't have any real limits. You can see this, like the example I often give is like a tree, for example. What are the limits of the tree? The roots go down into the soil. Like everything is interconnected. The tree couldn't exist without the sunlight, without the water, without the soil, without everything exists in a larger context. And so, where does the tree end and the rest of the world begin if this is the case? Well, it's those distinctions are only imagined by us. In reality, there's no distinction, there's no limit to any tree or object. The same with events. Some people, I think, maybe can see it even more with an event. With an event, the distinctions or the limits are time dependent. So, for example, we could talk about, give me an event, like a historical event.
Gettysburg Address.
Okay, the Gettysburg Address. So that's a distinct historical event, and it has, we imagine it has a beginning and an ending, right? But in reality, where do you draw the line? At the beginning. Where do you draw the line at the ending? There isn't a real line where it began. Did it begin when Lincoln, right, started speaking, when the first words came out of his mouth? Or did it begin earlier when he started thinking about the words that he would speak? Or did it begin earlier with the experiences in his life that led him to the kind of thoughts that would lead to the kind of words that he thought about speaking at the Gettysburg event? Or did it see what I'm saying? There's no
when his grandmother was born.
There's no beginning to the Gettysburg
Right.
Address, and likewise there is no ending to it either. And
Yeah.
so you could say, see, it's marked by emptiness. It isn't anything. The Gettysburg Address isn't anything at all. And so its true nature is empty.
And you're saying it's not anything at all because it's timeless and
It has no bounds.
it
Yes,
has no separateness from
from
the rest
anything
of the
else. Yeah,
universe.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, and then you have to go through the reverse process because it also says emptiness in form. And if you realize this fundamental emptiness, you see that all things are the distinctions that make things and events and objects appear are not real, they are only imagined, and you see this underlying unity or emptiness, then you can say, okay, but how then do we arrive at a perception of objects and things and forms, right? Where do forms come from then? If there's no if nothing has if everything is empty, where does form come from? Well, there's nowhere else it could come from other than from emptiness. And so even the mind that in this, even the mind is empty, of course. It's another thing, just as Bodhidharma pointed out, right? But this mind is what makes distinctions. And so, I think the most important thing to understand in this is that emptiness isn't something else, somewhere else. It's here right now, it's everywhere. Because people tend to think emptiness is some abstract thing somewhere else.
Right.
But it's actually right in front of you. It's everywhere you look. And so the form is emptiness, emptiness is form is a way of saying even at the most fundamental level, if you think existence and non-existence, for example, the reality is non-dual. In other words, there isn't form and emptiness. There's just this, which is forms appearing in emptiness and emptiness appearing behind forms. That's what it is.
And I assume the second part of that question, the wisdom that ends all suffering, that the wisdom is recognizing
Yes.
what you just said.
Yeah. And the part I like in the second part of the Heart Sutra is where it says all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas rely on nothing, and so they don't rely on any particular view, any particular concept, any particular understanding. And when you don't rely on any particular view or understanding, this non-dual understanding suddenly can become clear to you. Because the mind wants to jump to one thing or another thing.
Right. And I think they call that wisdom. And that wisdom leads to freedom,
Yeah.
which is the ending of suffering.
Yes.